Welcome in this segment, and in this segment I'm going to show you that when the user clicks on this button, for example, he has clicked on this button at the moment, there is nothing attached to it. Okay, so what we want is that when the user clicks on this button, it is going to bring in the form for him or her to add the product. So that is what is missing, and therefore in order for us to do that, we just go to our VS Code. We want to create a new file, so I go to file and then new file, and then I'm going to save this file as form.php, and then I just click here, and then this is not going to be stored in the CSS. It is going to be stored outside the CSS file. So what you need to do, you click on shop and then you just save it outside together with index and config. So I'm just going to create it here, and therefore I'm going to write the following code to generate the form. So doctype is supposed to be doctype HTML, and then we have our HTML here. So we have the head, we have our head there. Okay, so this head we are going to leave it blank for now because we are going to add some CSS in this case, but in this moment we are just going to deal with the structure. Body. Okay, so in the body section we just want to do the following. One is that we want to add the div, the first div. So this div we are going to give it an ID of container. Okay, and then inside this div we are going to create another div. Inside the div we are going to create another div called, this div we are going to call it ID. We are going to give it an ID of content. Okay, now inside this div again we are going to have another div. Inside this div we are going to create another div. We are going to call this div, it doesn't have a name, just a div, and then we just give it the form action is equal to product added .php, then method is supposed to be post. Okay, so we have post, and then you close the bracket, the quotations, and then you have that closing angle bracket. So what is going to happen here? So I'm going to explain this. Action basically is to say that once the button for add has been clicked, this file called product added.php is going to be fetched. Okay, so this one is the one that will enable to work on the data that has just been posted on your form once the add button has been clicked. Okay, now method is equal to post implies that the data is going to be transferred securely, not on the web browser, but it's going to be transferred securely so that it cannot be accessed by any unauthorized person. That's exactly what that statement means. Okay, now after doing that, we are going to create another div inside there. We're going to create this div, and this div we are going to give it the name ID. We're going to give it an ID. We're going to give it an ID of header. Going to give it an ID of header, and inside this div called header we're going to give it an h3, a heading 3. We're going to give it an heading 3, and this heading 3 contains this add product. So this is the name that will appear in that space. Okay, then we are done with that div. We want to open another div. Now here we are going to have another div, and this div we are going to give it an ID of btn add. Then in this btn add we are going to have an href, a link that is going to connect us to index.html, index.php. Okay, index.php, which is our main page or our main landing page. So this div is going to connect us to that index.php, and then the view, it is going to display the word view product. So that's the name that is going to be displayed. Once it has been clicked on, it is going to take you back to our index.html .php. So this is a link. Once this link has been clicked, it's going to take us back to our index.php. Okay. Now, after you are done this, you have already created these two. We are going to do the styling later in our next tutorial, but in this case we want just to create the form. So for equal sign, then we have product name, can maybe use an underscore, product name, close that, and give us product name. So that's the name that is going to appear there, and then you give us the closing label. Okay, after doing that, you just say input type is equal to text, id is equal to product name, go to product name, and then you give it a maximum length of 80. For example, we just want to have a maximum length of 80, and then you close that. Okay, now what we are going to do, we are going just to replicate these two, because it's going to happen in everything. So what you need to do, this is supposed to be product, so what you need to do is just copy this, and then you just paste 6 times, or let's say 6 or 5 times. So this is 1, you press enter, that is 2, that is 3, that is 4. Okay, then you have our 5. Okay, so what you are going to do is that we are going just to change the specification. Now for the second one, it is supposed to be unit price. So here we are going to change the label to be unit price. So we are going to change unit price. Maybe you can have a capital letter. We can just use unit price like that. So this, instead of product name, I just change here to unit price. Like that, and then here is just text box, but now the ID should change to unit price. Good. Then you have the length. Maybe you can give a length of this one can give a length of 20, maybe 80. Let's just maintain 80, but 80 is too big, but you can just reduce it if you want. Then we have got the next one. We want to enter is the quantity. Yeah, so here we are going to go with the quantity. So we are going just to use that, and then we write here quantity. Good. Then here we have text, type is equal to text, and then here we have ID is equal to quantity here. ID is equal to quantity. Maybe at this one also I can also put it to be like this. So this one can also be type text is equal to this, and then make sure it is just quantity. Then the length you can just maintain it to be that. Then description, so after quantity is description. Okay, we can just say here we also have description. So this one is going to save a lot of time. You don't need to write so much. Okay, copy, and then you just edit description like that. Then you delete this text here. Then we also need to change the description in this case. Just say text, then you can just say description, and then make sure it is also having a length. Description is too big, maybe you can use 150. Okay, then you can say we have got the label. This label, the next label is for the category, so I'm just going to change this to category. Then this one is supposed to be category here. Category. Now here it is supposed to be a combo list, a combo box, whereby somebody, they depend with the category of the product being entered. So we are going to create a select box. So we are going to say select. I'm going to say select, and then we give select ID is equal to category. Okay, then you are going also to give it a name. The name is category. Good. Then after doing that, we just make sure that that one is also done. Then you need just to enter the options now. So just say option value is equal to, then you give it the name that is supposed to be entered there, so Flash, and then we close that, and then you just write in capital letter Flash, and then you have the closing option. Okay, now what you need to do is just to replicate the same for the rest of them. So what I'm going to do, I just copy this, and then I just do that. Good. So I've created a form, and in this form you can see we have got the combo box. Now we just change here to drinks, and here I change to soaps, like that. Perfect. Now after that, the last thing to do is just to add a button. So we're going to add a button down here. So we're going to say input type is equal to, and then give us the submit, and then you just say name is equal to submit. Name is equal to submit, and also give us now the name, the value. So the value that is going to be displayed in that space is add in capital letter, add. And you close that. Good. Then after doing that, you just close the form. Close the form in small letters. The way you open in small letters, also make sure you close with small letters. Good. And then after that, the next thing to do, make sure that your divs are closed. Have 3 divs, so make sure you have 3 divs closed. So you can see this, the first div has been closed, the second div has been closed, the body has been closed, and then you have the body and the HTML. So everything is intact, and up to that particular point, I think we have created our form.php. So I save this, and then I go to run it. Check if everything is correct. So let me refresh this, click here. You can see form has been added, but it has not been styled. So you can see everything is okay, but now it has not been styled. Now in our next segment, we are going to style this page, the form product, the form that is going to capture in the product, so that it can be well aligned. Thank you so much for listening. Subscribe to my YouTube channel and see you in my next video. Bye bye for now.